My wife was caring for our neighbor's enormous dog while they were away. But while watching over the neighbor's massive dog, she had an unexpected accident that left her feeling oddly vulnerable. On a typical Thursday evening, the atmosphere felt almost serene, as if time had paused just long enough for one to take a deep breath and reflect on the whirlwind of existence. As I stepped through the door after a long day at work, fatigue wrapped around me like a heavy cloak, turning each movement into a struggle. Yet, an unusual essence lingered in the atmosphere of our home this evening, a sensation that crackled in the air, infused with a vibrant energy that eluded my understanding. In the heart of the kitchen, she stood with her back to me, gracefully leaning down to pull something from the oven's warm embrace. The scene was ordinary, yet it held an unexpected allure, her dress inching up just enough to tease a glimpse of skin. I lingered in the shadows, observing her as she composed herself, a tiny droplet of sweat making its way down her neck. "Hey!" I said, attempting to keep my tone light, while pushing aside the heaviness in my chest and the strange blend of intrigue and apprehension swirling in my stomach. She turned, a look of astonishment illuminating her face, then swiftly transformed into a smile that seemed to lack genuine warmth. "Oh, you're home early," she remarked, her voice laced with an undercurrent of mystery, hinting at untold tales waiting to be revealed. "So, I decided to sneak out of work a little early, hoping to catch you off guard." I approached her, gently kissing her cheek, seeking a sense of familiarity in our connection. Yet it felt altered, heavy with an unexplainable tension. As we gathered around the table for dinner, the soft clinking of cutlery against plates filled the air, creating a moment of quiet anticipation. I found myself sneaking looks at her, attempting to decipher the change in her expression. Did I make a mistake? Could it have been something related to your job? Yet, there was an unspoken truth, a hidden narrative she was concealing from me. Then she spoke, shattering the stillness like a floodgate giving way. "I have a tale to share with you." My heart raced, a deep-seated dread swelling within me. What tales could she weave? With anticipation building, I held my fork poised in the air. Once upon a time, there was a dog. While I was caring for him, an event unfolded. Her words lingered, heavy and oppressive in the atmosphere. My stomach lurched, and a chill sweat started to bead on my forehead. What could a dog possibly do that would lead to such a revelation? She carried on, her voice soft and delicate, as if sharing a secret. He was so strong that I lost my footing, and in that moment, I froze. I didn't know how to react. It all happened so quickly. Thoughts swirled in my head, grappling with the meaning behind her words. What was she sharing? Could it be that she was hinting at something deeper than what met the eye? The visions that danced in my thoughts were both unsettling and strangely alluring, a blend I found impossible to harmonize. I attempted to distance myself from him, yet there was an undeniable force, something raw and untamed, that held me captive. Her voice faded into silence, her gaze slipping away from mine, laden with a blend of embarrassment and an unnameable emotion. Words escaped me, and I found myself at a loss for how to respond. The treachery, if one could call it that, didn't manifest through the presence of another man, but rather emerged from something more primal, more disquieting. Did you enjoy it?" The words slipped out before I could hold them back, my tone feeling strange and distant. Her pause spoke volumes to me. A wave of feelings washed over me: frustration, bewilderment, and an unsettling intrigue. How was she able to do that? And yet, a part of me yearned to explore, to journey into the shadowy recesses of her thoughts where this unimaginable deed had taken root. The stillness that enveloped us was overwhelming, interrupted solely by the gentle breaths of the dog resting at her feet, its tail rhythmically tapping against the ground, unaware of the tempest it had stirred within our lives. I gazed at her, this woman I believed I understood, and came to see that she was a tapestry of experiences, with intricate layers and profound depths I had yet to uncover, or perhaps was too hesitant to confront. And in that moment, the distinction between right and wrong faded, filling my mind with a whirlwind of questions that seemed to have no answers. What story does this unfold for us? Will I ever see her through the same lens again? What troubled me most was how conflicted I felt. The evening deepened into night, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. each tick of the clock resonating with the beat of my heart, the cadence of a life coming apart at the seams. As the shadows grew thicker outside, I sensed a chasm widening within, each moment stretching endlessly, heavy with the burden of time. The familiar warmth of our home now seemed like a backdrop for an unfolding drama. At last, I shattered the stillness, my voice barely above a whisper, yet it bore the burden of countless unvoiced grievances. What's the duration of this situation? Her eyes, those portals to her essence that once shimmered with joy and warmth, now appeared shrouded in remorse and an unnameable weight. Rebellion? She inhaled deeply, her chest lifting in a manner that, in another time or place, would have captivated my attention. It only deepened the wound of betrayal within me. Since the previous month? She confessed, her voice soft and trembling, yet every word cut through the silence with sharp precision. It all began during a solitary stroll with Boone. A bond like no other existed between them, a bond that weaves together experiences. Once upon a time, there was a dog. The ridiculousness could have been amusing if it weren't for the overwhelming impact it had. In my mind, I painted vivid scenes of her with someone else, perhaps even with another woman. But a canine companion? My thoughts spun, struggling to comprehend the significance. What's the way to go about it? I found myself struggling to speak, caught between a desire to know more and an instinct to hold back, much like the urge to prod at a wound. It was following the incident that I found myself on the way to the vet with him. He felt an ache deep within, exposed and fragile. And in those moments of tenderness, a transformation occurred. My perspective on him began to shift. The treachery lay not only in the deed itself, but in the unfolding truth that this went beyond mere physicality. It was a deeply moving experience, or as near as one could come to that under these strange conditions. I glanced at Boone, now peacefully sleeping at her feet, completely oblivious to the chaos he had helped to unleash. His purity added an enchanting layer to the entire scene. Have you ever reflected on our journey together? What impact might this have on us? My voice trembled, revealing the turmoil inside me. I did, she said, and in that moment, her expression shifted, revealing a blend of sadness and a deeper, more unsettling emotion. Yet there are moments when our emotions take the reins, guiding us toward unexpected connections. The atmosphere thickened, as if the very walls were sharing tales that were never intended for my ears. Deception was often depicted as a clandestine romance, a hidden paramour. However, this was a tale with unexpected turns that caught me completely off guard. And what about Boone? His name lingered on my lips, but it came with a sharp edge of resentment. What tales can we share about him now? As her eyes fell upon the dog, a gentle warmth spread across her features, creating a vivid contrast to the underlying tension that lingered between us. I'm uncertain. There are many layers to this situation. Intricate. That word barely scratched the surface. My imagination spun with tales, each one more unsettling than the last. What we had created together began to fall apart right in front of me, not due to the typical fractures of betrayal, but from something so unforeseen, so completely perplexing. The quiet settled in once more, yet it carried a new weight. It was not merely the lack of noise, but the weight of an unsaid conclusion, the stillness before a whirlwind of truths unfolded. I rose to my feet, compelled by an urge to escape, to liberate myself from this overwhelming truth. With every step I took, it was as if I was weaving a narrative, each footfall a choice, each moment a threshold embraced. The walls closed in around me as I walked back and forth, my mind swirling with a storm of disbelief and anguish. Could you please put an end to this? I inquired, clinging to the faintest glimmer of hope for a response that could redeem a fragment of our existence. Her silence lingered, and with each passing moment, my heart felt heavier. As she finally found her voice, it carried a sense of strength and conviction. Time is what I seek, to grasp the essence, to choose moments. That was her lifeline as everything around me fell apart. The room swirled around me as I struggled to grasp her words, the weight of her need for time, the profound significance of what that could mean for our future. The relentless ticking of the clock felt like a taunt, counting down each surreal moment of this haunting ordeal. How might one find a way to mend the wounds of such a betrayal? Could there possibly be a way to return from this place? In that moment, I was engulfed by a desperate craving for air, for room to ponder, to inhale freely, without the burden of her revelation weighing heavily on my chest. As I approached the door, my fingers brushed against the knob, and I paused, caught in a moment of uncertainty. Was I ready to go? Was this the conclusion? Or merely an unusual pause in our journey together? The door swung open with a haunting creak, and as I ventured into the cool embrace of the night, I departed not only from the warmth of our home, but also from the solace of what I believed to be our intertwined existence. The night enveloped everything in silence, broken only by the distant howl of a dog, a haunting reminder of the revelations that lingered in the shadows, beckoning towards an uncertain future. The brisk breeze brushed against my skin, a vivid reminder of the heavy, oppressive air that lingered indoors. As I strolled along the street, my mind danced with a flurry of thoughts, each one more tumultuous than the one before. Did she simply require time, or was it distance from me that she sought? The dog's distant howl resonated with my inner turmoil, a solitary cry in the night that struck a chord deep within me. My feet guided me to the park, a realm filled with echoes of laughter and whispers of dreams we once shared. Yet in this moment, each shadow appeared to guard a hidden tale. Every bench stood as a quiet observer to a love now shrouded in doubt. I settled onto our beloved bench, the one we always claimed as our own. It had an unfamiliar chill, as though the wood itself held a grudge against me. The image of her face lingered in my mind, the guilt and sorrow reflected in her eyes as she spoke to me. What was the meaning behind that look? Did she feel remorse for her past actions, or was it the impending choices that weighed on her mind? The betrayal cut deep, a sharp edge severing the bond of trust I had woven between us. As I gazed at the moon, its tranquil radiance brought no solace, merely a poignant reminder of the brightness that had faded from my existence. The bench groaned beneath my weight, and for a fleeting instant, I envisioned her whispering secrets I wasn't prepared to embrace. Why? I murmured into the darkness. Why, if your heart was mine, did you choose this path? In that moment, the quiet enveloped me, broken only by the mournful cry of the dog, echoing its own quest for understanding, for solace amidst its suffering. As I pondered further, the picture began to sharpen in my mind. This was more than a matter of time. It was a quest for truth. Was there ever a moment of honesty between us, or was our connection merely a tapestry woven from deception? The idea lingered in my mind, a haunting presence that I couldn't shake off. Every moment we experienced together, each soft promise exchanged, every burst of laughter, now seemed like a deception. What unfolded was not merely an act of betrayal. It was the culmination of years woven with deceit, leading to this pivotal moment. My heart pounded, caught in a whirlwind of frustration and sadness. I felt the urge to face her, to seek the truth, yet the dread of the revelations kept me at bay. What if she validated my deepest anxieties? What if she revealed that her heart never truly belonged to me? Could I embrace that reality? In the quiet of the park, solitude reigned, interrupted only by the soft whisper of leaves and the far-off bark of a dog, possibly the very same one whose mournful howl had signaled the start of the night. It was almost like a tale unfolding. The way the dog's cry mirrored my own internal turmoil, a sound filled with anguish, bewilderment, and an unclear path ahead. I rose to my feet, the icy air penetrating my very core, echoing the frost that gripped my heart. I felt the pull to return, not in search of clarity, but driven by a lingering wish for something extraordinary, for her to reveal that it was all just a dreadful misunderstanding. Yet, beneath the surface, I understood that hope danced away like the autumn leaves swirling in the breeze around me. The journey home stretched endlessly, every footfall burdened by the sting of treachery. As I approached our home, the lights glowed brightly, creating elongated shadows on the lawn, shadows that appeared to extend, beckoning me, drawing me back into the haunting memories. I lingered at the threshold, my fingers poised above the doorknob. Am I ready to confront her? May I hear the tale she has to share? The door stood before me, a threshold that promised not only a return to familiarity, but also a clash I felt unready to face. With a deep breath, I turned kneed. the knob, stepping back into a life that felt foreign, prepared to confront the reality that awaited me, no matter what it held. As I crossed the threshold, the inviting warmth of the house wrapped around me like a familiar tale waiting to be told. The comforting aroma of lavender and vanilla candles enveloped the space, now overshadowed by the bitter sting of betrayal. In that moment, she stood there, her outline illuminated by the gentle glow of the living room, her gaze filled with a blend of astonishment and an unspoken emotion. Was it remorse or trepidation? "Is that you, Daniel?" Her voice pierced through the thick silence, quivering as if she sensed the tempest gathering inside me. Allow me to share a tale. Yet, could any tale restore the broken bond we once shared? My heart raced within me, each thump resonating like the call to battle. I strolled by her, the soft carpet beneath my feet resembling quicksand, as if it were trying to drag me down into a pit of sorrow. I paused in the center of the room, gradually pivoting to meet her gaze. "Could you elaborate?" I inquired, my tone a chilling murmur. "Could you share the tale behind the lipstick on his collar? What about the text messages? The glance you shared with him at the gathering?" She parted her lips, yet silence enveloped her, her eyes flitting away from mine, unable to meet my stare. Visions flooded my thoughts, the recollections of our shared journey now forever altered. Each caress, each embrace, every soft-spoken declaration of affection. Did any of it hold significance for her? Was everything we shared, Lenora, merely an illusion? I inquired, not truly anticipating a response, but longing for one that could reverse the events of the last few hours. The atmosphere thickened, the space around us seemed to compress, urging us toward a reckoning, a purging of our inner turmoil. She took a step forward, her hand reaching out, but I stepped back, the space between us now not merely physical, but immense, unbridgeable. "I never intended for things to unfold this way, Daniel," she finally confessed, her voice a soft murmur, heavy with the burden of countless regrets. It was simply a fleeting moment of vulnerability. A fleeting lapse, the words pierced through like a familiar treachery once more. How long does it take for a fleeting instant to evolve into weeks, then stretch into months? How much time slipped away because of her frailty? I approached the window, gazing into the night, the shadows mirroring the chaos within me. "So, what comes next?" I inquired, my back still facing her, reluctant to witness the look that would undoubtedly follow her forthcoming words. Her response was gentle, barely rising above the rhythm of my own pulse. "Ultimately, the reality comes to light, compelling us to confront the outcomes of our decisions." Be sure to hit that subscribe button, give a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments.